Money is a thing that acts as an intermediary for goods and services, but despite that simple concept, most people are really bad at managing it. You need a budget is a phrase oft spoke to friends who frequently ask to borrow $20, but it's also the name of something that began as an Excel spreadsheet developed into powerful web and mobile applications by Jesse Meekum. While the YNAB product is ostensibly software, it is accompanied by philosophy in the form of 4 rules. Rule 1, give every dollar a job. Money that you bring in is known as income. Pulled together, it makes up the budget. As you spend this money on goods and services, the money leaves the budget to pay for this stuff. Note that in YNAB, the budget represents all of your money regardless of where it is located. The budget doesn't care where you keep it, just that you own it. You can't spend $1 on something twice, so break your life into categories and distribute your funds into these categories, thus giving them all a job to do. Your guiding rule, don't budget with money you haven't earned, and stop when you hit 0. Rule 2, embrace your true expenses. This, like the rules that follow, are extensions and clarifications of Rule 1. Rule 2 is about breaking down your large, infrequent expenses into monthly amounts. Car insurance is an excellent example of this. Premiums are typically paid bi-yearly, and this can cause people some degree of stress as bills average over $400. This is worse for the youngest people who typically make the least amount of money but incur the highest cost. The solution? Break it down into easily digestible monthly payments. Side note, some companies offer options to pay monthly, bi-monthly, or whatever. This of course is not free, and you'd be saving a lot by simply paying them all at once, or put another way, your insurance company would be more than happy to finance a lower monthly payment for you. Don't think of paying a bigger amount up front as a discount, rather paying less up front as a surcharge. Christmas is also a fun example because everyone I've ever talked to has the, oh, I spent so much by accident, I do this every Christmas, woe is me. Yeah, people who manage their money well, they don't have this problem. $50 a month nets you $600 by the time St. Nick arrives, and you'll be giving yourself the best gift of all, a stress-free holiday. Once you wrap your mind around this concept, you will start to realize all the other things it can be applied to, things that take years but are inevitably funded by this principle. Rule 3, roll with the punches. Speaking of insurance, you just got into an auto incident. Your vehicle isn't totaled, but you haven't met the deductible yet. Fortunately, you've been saving up for the holidays, and you even have a slush fund for a new computer. These can wait, so you siphon off money from those categories and put it into the repairs. After all, the car is more important at the moment. Do you know what the overspender has? Debt. If you don't have cash to pay for this, you're putting it on a credit card or taking out a loan. You're saying, hello, fellow human, I need the money because I spent all mine, and can you loan me some? And other humans would be happy to do so at 12.99%, because making money on your poor decisions is so easy. Sidebar here, I happen to be investing at Lending Club, where X% of my investments are debt refinancing. I make money on this exact thing while sleeping. The point of this rule is knowing it's okay to move money between categories as a reaction to new information. CEO Jesse Meekum stresses this heavily in his weekly Whiteboard Wednesdays. Apparently, other budgeting systems are rigid and carved in stone, providing guilt for people who associate changing their budget with failure. It isn't. Reacting to new information is a strength of a budget, indeed a fundamental trait of life, and to do otherwise would be to walk towards death, eyes wide open. Rule 4, age your money. All these principles build off the next, like pools of water spilling into other pools, until you have a sea of abundance. Aging your money is a byproduct of getting out of the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, and as your savings grow, you can query a very interesting metric. By sorting your money by age and spending from the oldest pile first, one can derive an average of how long you've been holding on to money before it leaves your possession. Ta-da! Age of money is born. The bigger the number in days, the better you are at spending money slowly. Rule 0, the unwritten rule. Rule 0 does not have to be memorized as a logical result of Rule 1, and we've already hinted about it at the beginning. The answer is priority. When presented with categories, even people who are terrible at managing their money do the exact same thing as people who are excellent at managing their money. They put their money into categories that make sense in relation to priority. People don't deliberately skip rent for drinking money, and people don't intentionally miss payments. Turns out everyone is actually pretty smart when it comes to making good decisions. The error in judgment lies in attempting to remember the larger infrequent expenses while staring at their bank account. If you're doing this, you will eventually miss something, and if you're on the cusp already, you're going into debt. To conclude, I am not saying you cannot perform without a budget. Indeed, many successful people don't have one, but if you're someone who is in debt, wants to avoid debt, or is tired of timing paychecks with bills, then please check out YNAB. They run a fantastic business, and even if you don't use the product, the 4 rules we just discussed are an excellent mentality no matter what your system might be. Thank you.